You're retired, so what are you complaining about? I hear that when I do complain about things. You're retired. And I have to admit that before I retired, I agreed. Yes, you're retired. What the heck do you have to complain about? But as with any large change or transition in your life, there are ups and downs, and it may take some time to adjust to the change. So it can really be exhilarating and remarkable and scary at the same time. So in today's video, I talk about the 5 unavoidable losses that most of us will experience when you retire. I'm Maureen Dobransky. This is Life Starts at Retirement. I produce a retirement lifestyle video every Monday morning. Now, it's said that retiring is one of the top 10 emotional stresses that happen in a person's life. And although many of us, we've planned for it, we've dreamed about it, we've hoped for it, when that day finally happens, it's a shock to our system. There are people, and I might have been one of them, that looked ahead to retirement with rose-colored glasses, thinking it's going to be like a 25-year vacation and wonderful. And when I first retired, it honestly was. Because for most of us, when we first retire, we go into this first phase called, this is it, woo! It's fun, it's exciting, you can get up when you want, do what you want, enjoy your life, finally. But it seems as though we then start to experience some of these losses. And each one of us will go through these losses at a different time and with varying degrees of difficulty. But we seem to go through these losses. So I'm going to talk about them now, and maybe just knowing them will help you to cope when it's your turn, or help you now if you are going through some of these. So the first loss that most of us experience is the loss of your identity. That's where you might be asking yourself well, who am I now? What am I? And for many of us, we identified ourselves. We got a lot of our self-worth from what we did in our work. I was a mortgage broker, I was a sales trainer, I was a manager, and then that's gone. And you kind of go, well, what am I? I'm just retired. But I remember the first time somebody said to me after I kind of retired, and somebody came up to me and met me for the first time, shook my hand, say, "Hey, Maureen, nice to meet you. What do you do?" And I kind of went, oh crap, what do I do? I didn't quite know what to say. I couldn't say nothing. And for some reason, I couldn't say the word retired. That bothered me too. I'm not quite sure. There's something going on here, but I'm not quite sure. But that's when I began to realize really how much of myself was tied up in my work, how much of my identity and self-worth was tied up in my work. So if that's you too, I would love to hear what you do say when someone asks you, hey, what do you do? I'd love to hear what you say. But I still struggle with this question. And again, I don't know why, something's going on up here, but I am a licensed mortgage broker and I manage a big, huge portfolio of private mortgages. I speak on cruise ships, which is totally cool. But really, I consider myself semi-retired. I don't have to be anywhere at any time. The amount of what I do is fully my choice. So why am I struggling with this? I'm not sure, but I really would love your opinion on what you do. But just remember, most of us will struggle with some kind of a loss of identity when they retire. The next loss is a loss of structure and routine. Now, once again, most of us when we first retire, we love the lack of structure and the lack of routine. No getting up at 5:30 a.m. if you don't want to. No driving in the freeway for an hour every morning and every night. It's liberating. It is wonderful, and we really, really enjoy it. But again, at some point, we realize we have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to fill with something. And so when I talk about the loss of structure and routine, I want to add in the third loss, the loss of purpose, because those three kind of go hand in hand: loss of structure, loss of routine, and loss of purpose. Because it seems as human beings, we really thrive on having something to do, something to feel like we should get up in the morning, a purpose. And to me, those ones go hand in hand. And many of us, our career, our work life has given us that structure, that routine, and that purpose. And it seems as though when we retire and the planning that we had into those days is gone, it's good and bad. And it's almost like we're at the airport and we're watching planes taxi off down the runway. Some of us want to get on that plane and chase it back to where we came from. Some of us want to just get on another plane and go somewhere and do something else. And some of us just want to watch that darn plane disappear, either with sadness or with glee. But no matter what, when you retire, that specific airplane, that one airplane you had been on, maybe for 30 or 40 years, is gone. And everything we knew about that part of our lives is gone with it. So the loss of structure and purpose and routine are something really to be aware of. Now, if you've watched some of my recent videos, you'll know that my husband Ken is selling his business. And if everything goes well, it'll close the end of this month. Fingers crossed. His plan, though, for once the business is gone, nothing. He doesn't have a plan. From someone like me who has to have the structure and routine, who has to be doing something all the time, he keeps saying he wants to do nothing, which scares the daylights out of me. We'll see how long he lasts doing nothing. So the next loss I talk about is the loss of relationships. If you think about it, you've been going to work for probably 5 days a week, seeing the same people, talking to them, chatting with them, maybe lunches, maybe after-hour drinks, but seeing these same group of people for possibly years. And then one day, it's gone. It's like that particular group of people, the ones you've worked with, have all gotten on that airplane, and they're still going, and they're still flying away, and you're standing at the airport watching them go. You can still see them, of course. You can arrange to have time with them. You can go for lunches or have after drinks, but the day-to-day is gone, and it's changed forever. They are still meeting every day. They still have that common bond of work, the deadlines, the stress, but your life does not. And to be honest, I thought my friends from work would always be there through my life. And I'm not complaining. Some of them I see, but most of them I keep up with on Facebook. So it's changed. They're still on that airplane. I'm not. And so the research shows this is a very, very common loss. And now the last of your 5 losses that you'll probably go through is it's a financial, and it's not necessarily that you're going to have less money when you retire, but it's like you've worked for 30 or even 40 years and you've received a paycheck, most of us, every 2 weeks or every month for that whole entire time. And now all of a sudden that 2 weeks goes by and that money isn't in your bank account. And that is crazy scary. I left my corporate job, my every 2 week paycheck, when I was 42, but I became self-employed. So it was scary because now I was responsible for that. But for some reason, it wasn't as scary as having to take money out of my retirement savings plan. That is scary. It seems like for years and years and years, I've been putting money in and saving for some day, and now today is some day. And I don't like it. It's really, really scary. So those are the 5 losses. And yes, retirement really can be exhilarating and it can be scary. It has its ups and it has its downs. But knowing about the ups and the downs and knowing that you're not alone, most of us go through these, hopefully will help to make your retirement just a little bit more remarkable. I'm Maureen Dobransky. This is Life Starts at Retirement. Again, I produce a retirement lifestyle video every Monday morning, and our Facebook group is growing like crazy. We'd love to have you join us for any of your retirement-related questions. Facebook.com/groups/Life Starts at Retirement.